What is your American dream?
My American dream is to always feel that we can be ourselves and be accepted being different. That's my American dream, where we can finally embrace differences, accept differences, and include differences.
Well, of course, achieving American dreams would be to have a house, a car, but I already have all that. So now it's more like sort of leaving a legacy behind, and again, helping one another, getting to know more people, trying to do good.
This is my dream, to build this organization, to build as well a group for immigrant women, and make everyone happy.
My American dream is to be able to write more. That's what I would like to do, and help my community.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam!
I enjoy being chauffeured around. This is so amazing. La la la. Oh my noggin. Oh, my lower back. Oh no. Okay. Thank you so much for giving me a ride back to Spar and Bernstein, officer. I appreciate all of your help.
You're welcome, Sam. Anytime.
Oh man, wait till I go tell Moshe what happened. I need Moshe Baruch right now. Oh.
Hey, Sam.
Moshe,
What happened?
look at me, I'm a mess.
You look like you got into a car accident. What happened?
I got into a car accident. I knew you'd know that because you're a personal injury attorney. You're the best. You're a personal injury partner here.
That is true. That's what they gave me this name for, Mr. Awesome.
Mr. Awesome. Well, I hope, Mr. Awesome, you can help me.
What happened?
So, Brad sent me out on an errand, and he told me I could take an Uber.
Oh my
So
God.
I did, and I was in the back seat, and a car went and hit him, and he was not paying attention, and he crashed.
Oh my goodness.
And I hit my little groundhog noggin.
All right now, Sam, this is very important. Immediately after the accident, did you call the police?
I did.
And what did you tell the police?
I told them what happened, you know. I was just passenger in the car, and that this other car came out of nowhere and hit up the driver, and then the driver went into a pole, and it was crazy.
Now, and did the police officer give you a police report?
He did. He told me that he would have a police report for me in a few days, and I could go to the precinct and pick it up.
Excellent. Now, Sam, what I need you to do, it's very important, so pay attention, okay? Immediately upon receipt of the police report, you have to come to me because you have 30 days from the date of the accident to file what's called your no-fault benefits.
No fault. 30
Exactly.
days.
All right, and don't forget, you have to come back here with the police report because we need the police report to file for your no-fault benefits. All right, and once you bring that to us, we commence your action.
Commence my action. That sounds very official. I like it.
Well, I'm glad you like it, Sam. I see a Band-Aid on your right
Yes.
eyebrow. Did you tell the officer you were in pain?
I told him that I knocked my head a little bit and that I am in pain.
Okay, and where did you tell them you had complaints of pain?
I told him it was my head and my lower back.
Oh, you poor little groundhog.
I know,
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
And did you go to the emergency room the same day, even though you didn't go from the scene of the accident?
Uh-oh, I came straight to you.
All right, and the accident happened today, correct?
Yes,
And you're still in pain?
a little bit.
Okay, it's very important that you do go seek medical attention because
Oh, snap.
yes, because it'll show and document that you were actually injured on this particular time in this particular location. So it's very important that you go and get that done.
Okay, I'll go do that.
So you were a passenger
I was a passenger.
and you were in an Uber
I was in an Uber.
and you got into a car accident.
I got into a car accident. Well, I did, he did, but anyway.
Well, the good news is you have absolutely no share of responsibility in this accident because you were merely a passenger.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
Yes.
don't know if I did it all right. I don't know how to do that.
Well, Sam, you have nothing to worry about. Here at Spar and Bernstein, we take care of all the paperwork, all the medical bills, and if you were out of work as a result of this accident, we get you your lost wages as well.
If I was out of work, it would be terrible. I love this job at Bradshaw Live.
And we love you here too. But you know what? If you're disabled and you can't come to work, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, Moshe, thank God, because otherwise how am I going to feed myself my pretzels and how am I going to save for my bungalow I want? Oh, this is just terrible. I've never been in an accident before. Okay, Moshe, so I know what I have to do. I'm going to pick up my police report and then I'm going to come straight to you and you're going to file my...
Commence your action. Yes, what I'm going to also advise you to do is if you can take pictures of the scene of the accident, if you haven't done it already, if you can get it from somewhere, that'll actually help you as well, especially if you have a video that shows the damage to the vehicles.
Well, Moshe, this is the last time I take an Uber. I'll tell you, from now on I stick to burrowing. I told Brad I could burrow, but he thought it would take too long, and now look what happened. Burrowing is safer. Moshe, thank you so much. Now I feel like I'm in good hands and I'm not so stressed out. Okay, I have one other thing I have to do now. Hello, everybody! Well, never a dull day around here at Spar and Bernstein. I can't believe I had my first automobile accident. I'm telling you, I'm just going to stick to burrowing from now on. But if you ever have an injury in a car accident, you know who to call. Moshe Baruch at Spar and Bernstein. He'll take care of all your needs and make sure you're fully compensated. Anyway, I know I'm in good hands with Moshe, and so would you be. Now, did you miss yesterday's episode of Bradshaw Live? Well, in case you did, Jonathan asked people on the street if they knew where those words originated from. And guess what? Not only was the segment a hoot to watch, but it was also really informative. Who knew? And now's the time you've all been waiting for. It's time for Bradshaw Live, starring Brad Bernstein with co-host Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Enjoy the show. I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm just going to keep this ice pack on my head.
Excellent. Until next time, Sam.
Ha 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 ha.
Everybody! You hear anything, Jilly? Everything is good now? Everything's good. Come on the show, Jilly, one day. Will you come on the show one day and join us here? Promise. Welcome, Red Squad. What's going on? Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, how are you?
I'm here. Oh, look at this. Look at my wire.
Yes, we had,
showing.
you know, listen, we're not.
So embarrassing.
We're not.
My goodness.
We are not shy here. We had a little technical difficulty. And as we were ending the Groundhog Sam, and as we got into the opening credits, opening thing, I was yelling to Jilly, come, over there. And Jonathan's like, don't worry, I got it covered. And then the two of them are sitting there playing with the wire back there.
Yep.
And then Julie and the TriCaster guys going 6, 5,
Oh, was he
4. Oh, yeah, it's like a countdown. And I'm like, ay, what's going on here? But we were all able to do it.
If only they could see all of our behind the scenes. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is an app, but we're here. And
we are here.
It. Nobody realizes. What? Who was that?
Groundhog
Sam. Nobody realizes like we have like fires here every day.
Yeah, every day.
Right. There's like fires going on all around us, and we're like, hi. Next question. So let's welcome Carol Anderson the Tiger. What's up? Lavon D. Tucker off her Academy Award performance
on The Lion King.
On The Lion King, maybe.
It's going to be a different Broadway show every day.
Different Broadway show. Right. Well, then that would be the Tony Awards. Yeah. Jasmine McDonald, Dionne Watson, Marjorie Thompson, what's going on? Ramona Hazel. So far, she says we are good. Okay. Who else is here? Ma Dukes. Was Ma Dukes here all week?
Yeah.
She was? I don't remember seeing her. She was here. Shay Murray, Unique Terry Unique.
Unique Terry Unique.
Unique. Yes. Terry, she's unique. So unique, she had to say it twice.
Hey.
We think alike now, right?
We do.
Wendy Brown.
We've been hanging out a little too long.
Yes, I think so. Mode, M-O-H-D, M-O-H-D.
Okay.
He's new. Mode. Says hello.
Best show ever. He's not new.
He's not new then.
I've read.
You've read before?
A question for
yes.
Mode
Wendy Brown, how are you? Marjorie Thompson, Shay Murray, Angie Love says, squat up all princess. Diddy Hudson, Brad, good night today with the cool shades. And Cordella Douglas on, by the way, Jessica Leamy, was she there? I missed her.
Today?
But maybe she was, I don't know. Brad looks very bright today, says Princess Diddy Hudson. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Really? I don't feel bright.
Why?
I don't know. I was a little tired, but then I had some coffee, so now I guess
you're good?
Now I'm good.
All right. Well,
and
I feel
Wendy
like
Brown's daughter's birthday is today.
Hey.
So I don't know how old she is, but happy birthday to the daughter
of
Wendy
birthday.
Brown. We always like that. Afzal A says, Captain Brad and Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
Hello. Brad, you are my immigration lawyer superhero. #facts. Well, Afzal A. I got to read his comments every day. They get better and better. I don't think my ego is big enough for this studio anymore.
No.
Not after Afzal A.
Nah.
Carol, the top Tigers 2 Anderson says, hi, Brad, Jonathan. Who else? Yulette Wilson, what's going on? And who else we hear? Back it up, Ricky.
Yeah.
Says, good evening, everybody. And Shanique Myers, Shan in the building. Hey, Brad Squad family.
I like
Shan.
that.
I like
What's
that.
Up, Shan?
That's cool.
Yeah. Shan.
That's like somebody you want to hang out with, right?
Yeah, Shan.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you want to hang out with her, right?
I want to hang out with Shan.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Renor
Shan
or Shan?
I would think it might be Shan.
Shan sounds a little cooler. Even.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Renar Gishi with a question, and we will answer that in a little bit. Make sure you got that down there, Jonathan. Bevan Smith, what's going on? Jilgo Productions says, I will at some point join us in the studio. She has to.
I want that.
Yes. She's going to come in here, and we're going to have her read social media questions.
Hey.
Right.
I want to be here for that.
Wouldn't that be great? Everybody wants Jilly Bean to come in and do it.
Aww.
Everybody. They're dying for Jilly Bean to get on camera.
I am too.
Right?
She's good on camera.
She is good on camera too.
She did a couple pieces like Man on the Streets.
Yeah, and also I saw years ago, I mean, you know, I don't want to date her. She's a young lady. But years ago in her other job, she's been in television for a while, and not just Bradshaw Live.
Right.
In her other job, she did on-air interviews, and she showed me on YouTube.
Really?
Yes, and she did a very good job.
She's a woman of many talents.
Yes. And by the way, Coco Diaries says, hey, Brad Squad.
Coco's Diaries,
yeah. So we got a lot to cover here today, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Yes, we do.
Before we get into what we like to call smoozing on the seesaw. Smoozing on the seesaw?
In the seashore.
Schmoozing on the seashore. Schmoozing on the seashore. Before we do that, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, tell everybody what?
We are only at 10 shares.
That is why it's sad. Sad. Tell people how they can make us happy.
All right, you guys, you already know what you have to do just to put a smile on our face. And not only our face, but your face and everybody else that we can help with. It's all in your hands, all at the fingertips, your fingertips. So all you have to do is share. Share it to people's pages, groups, any kind of groups that you guys are in. We would love for you guys to share it to that. But most importantly, what we are doing now is we're sharing in the inbox. So we're sharing to your friends, family, make a group in your inboxes and for your Facebook, and you can share through that. And also, interaction. We love to hear what you guys have to think about anything we talk about. Like, share, love, laugh, wow, sad face, mad face, whatever you're feeling, we want you to make sure you show that by pressing the like button. And then also interact with each other, interact with us. Between the shows, in between segments, we're going to be talking about some debatable topics, and we love to hear what you guys have to think about that, all right? And now, also for YouTube, you guys are not off the hook. All you have to do is copy by pressing the copy link. There's a little link or a share button, and you can share it to people's WhatsApp. Make a group of friends, family, anybody you think that might benefit from this show. Make a group and send it in a text blast, all right? Also, subscribe and like. Now, we are going to the next segment, Snoozing with the Bread.
Yeah, I think Julie, the TriCaster guy, got tired of you talking. It was like trying to be Academy Award. where they just cut the music,
Guess
you know?
what?
They cut the music
when,
on you.
when I get my first award,
You're milking
I'm staying
it. You are
on
milking
there.
it. You are going to milk it.
Listen, I'll call them out. I know that you guys are throwing on the music. I don't care. I'm gonna still get everything out my mouth.
All right. So, by the way, we actually some sad statistics came out today, Jonathan. That the number of deaths in America from alcohol and drug-related suicides have nearly tripled.
Wow.
In the last decade.
Wow.
There were now more than 150,000 people in the United States of America who died last year from suicide. 150,000 people died from alcohol and drug-related deaths. 1/3 of them, 47,173, were deliberate suicides.
Wow.
This statistic just came out from the Centers of Disease Control. The doctor who did this study, Dr. Benjamin Miller, says there are two crises unfolding in America right now. One is healthcare, and one is in society. Dr. Miller attributed the increasing disparities and the number of deaths by suicide because of the inequality in healthcare that people are getting, as well as the unbelievably large amounts of unnecessary opioids and drugs that doctors are prescribing, enriching pharmacies and pharmaceutical companies. The grim statistics are fueled by synthetic opioid deaths, all prescription drugs. 20 years ago, less than 1,000 people committed suicide by opioid. Now between opioids and alcohol, it's over 47,000 people a year. In 2017, more than 1,000 Americans died from an opioid overdose every 2 weeks. 28,000 people died from doctors who prescribed a drug for pain, and they took too much of it and they killed themselves.
Yeah.
And this didn't exist 20 years ago.
So do you think anything else could be, a reason why there's a rise in the suicides other than just
guns? Okay, guns are plentiful and accessible, according to Dr. Miller, and they are responsible for more than half of the 47,173 suicides in 2017. Most people who committed suicide were Caucasians. They committed suicide by gun. The rate among children and adolescents increased by 16%. The rate of suffocation by killing yourself by suffocating yourself in the last decade has increased by 42%.
Sheesh.
There are 13,000 suicides last year. People killed themselves, attributed to increase in copycat suicides.
See, and that's where I was kind of getting at. I feel like social media has a lot to do with this. That is correct.
Dr. Miller says that he agrees with you. He says people get the idea from high-profile celebrities who die by hanging themselves.
Yes, yeah. Because back in the day, we didn't really know about this type of stuff. Now it's almost glorified. Not only glorified, but like you see it so much, and it's thrown in your face. You have your phone, and you're constantly seeing articles and people posting about it, and it's it's throwing it in your brain. If you already have a weak brain and you already had thought of killing yourself, it just it kind of just gives you a boost to that. And it's so sad. It's scary.
West Virginia, which is the largest supporters of Donald Trump, probably in the United States, that's a coal mining country, and New Mexico, which is on the border between Mexico and the United States, the border fence, which is where Donald Trump wants to build his border fence, they lead in all 50 states the highest number of suicides, and there are small states.
Yeah, well, New Mexico's not too small, but
in population, yes.
Yeah.
So they are the two. Wow. Those states, you have more suicides in those states than anywhere else.
Really?
Now, what I find is beyond any rational reason. Okay, if you think logically, no emotion, what the hell are we talking about in Washington? We're arguing over $5 billion to build a fence. And I don't even know if we can attribute 100 murders. Maybe, I don't even know. 150 murders, 200 murders to people who were here out of status last year? 50 murders? How many people actually got murdered by people who were here who are undocumented?
Right.
How many? Can't be that many.
It's not, because
50, 100?
when I did the stats, it said that most of the cities, 9 out of 10 of the cities that had the most refugees come were the safest ones. So.
And Donald Trump says we have a national emergency. It is a national emergency. We have to build this wall. We have to spend $5.3 billion to build this wall to save ourselves. The national emergency is right here on these cards.
Right.
147,000 people in America committed suicide last year. Wow. That is the national emergency.
That is insane. And
half by guns.
Yeah.
More than a third by copycat. More than 28,000 by overdosing on prescription drugs. 100. You want to save lives? You want to call a national emergency? Let's start talking about this.
Well, he would have to actually care.
Exactly.
It's obviously just a joke.
You don't care.
Right.
And I do have to say, if you are having any thoughts, because maybe there's somebody out there watching right now, okay, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. And when people, I'm not an expert in suicide. I don't know, I know everybody in life is unhappy sometimes. Nobody goes through life happy every day.
Right.
Right? I'm unhappy sometimes, right? You're unhappy.
Right.
It's a life. Okay? But it's not worth taking your life over. It's not worth taking your life over because the sun's going to come out tomorrow, as the song says.
Yeah.
Bet your bottom dollar.
Right.
Right?
I think the main point is, it's great for us to say that, but it's also imperative that the people that are around them and surrounding them are actually really taking heed and really noticing different characteristics that change, because honestly, when you're in that mindset, it's almost like a different person. You're a different mind. Like you feel like you are a burden to the people around you, and it's nothing that you can control.
Your emotions overtake what is logic and reality.
Right.
And then, as a matter of fact, your emotions overtake you to such a level that they kind of, it's kind of self-fulfilling.
Right, because you don't think about, and
because
then you don't think about
they almost like your emotion kind of links with reality, and it becomes a self-fulfilling, thing. And I don't know how to phrase it, but I mean I could understand how you can feel that way. Right. I don't know how to particularly phrase it.
Well, you don't think about the consequences. You don't think, you feel like what you're doing, you taking yourself out of this world, is going to benefit everybody, including yourself.
It's not. It's not. It actually makes everybody, to tell you the truth, and people don't realize this, but I would say that committing suicide is probably one of the most selfish things you can do.
I don't
and I will tell you why.
Why?
Because every person in the world has somebody who loves them, who likes them, who respects. They exist. Okay? You may not have even spoken to somebody for 20 years, but they're out there. Okay? I may not have even met you, and I respect you and love you. Okay? And to say that you're not going to be, every person is going to be missed at some level, and there is hurt that is left after the person commits suicide. The people who like you, the people who love you, and they don't think about by me killing myself, how that's going to hurt other people who live on.
But how could you say that it's selfish but when it's a mental illness?
It's a mental illness.
But so when it's a mental illness, you don't think
correct.
Straight. So
I'm not saying you can control it. Those are two different things. What I'm saying is that if you commit suicide, you're not thinking about how this is going to affect the people who I leave behind. You're not thinking. You're only thinking about yourself. I'm not saying you can control it. A lot of things you can't control.
It's not actually no. It's not just thinking about yourself because they feel like they are a burden to the people that actually do love them.
They're delusional.
Yeah, so that's not selfish.
But
it's not
selfish
if you're not in your right mind. You can't.
But in reality, it is.
Selfish
you're
means
not
you
in your
can
right
control.
Mind.
Selfish is like I don't want you hanging out with them because you're my friend.
I am telling you that I know people in families where somebody committed suicide and they were extraordinarily unhappy, and it destroyed. The person who died destroyed the rest of the family for the rest of their lives.
I think that's selfish to think about that because you're not thinking about the person who's actually going through it every day.
When that person goes through it every day, the issue that they have is that they can't. That their reality is warped. Their emotions overtake what is real in life, and then it kind of couples with their reality, and then their reality says, this emotion is correct. It kind of self-fulfills it, and it goes back and forth and snowballs until you can't control it anymore.
All right, well, we want to know what you guys think out there. Do you feel like, because I know that this is a big no-no into a lot of different cultures and religions. What do you guys feel out there, Brad Squad? Do you feel like committing suicide is a selfish act, or is it just a mental illness that you can't really control and you don't feel like it is a selfish act? We really want to know what you guys think, but make sure anybody that might be going through anything, there is a hotline 24 hours, and we'll throw it back up. It is the Suicide Prevention Hotline, and the number is, what's the number? 1-800-273-TALK. I think that's what it is.
1-800-273-TALK. That's correct.
Absolutely.
1-800-273-8255, or go to speakingofsuicide.com.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Rob J. Roberts agrees with me, which means I'm probably going to be in the minority. Because
a lot of people feel what you feel.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a mental illness. I'm just saying, and you're not in your right mind because your emotions overtake logical thinking. Okay? Anybody who commits suicide, their emotions overtake their own logical thinking. Mm-hmm. Okay? But I still believe that you don't think about the consequences of it, and that's selfish.
Yeah, you don't.
And that's selfish. Now, you may not say, well, you can't control it. I'm not saying you can't control it. I'm just saying you can't.
I feel like if it's a selfish act, that should be something that you can control.
Okay.
Because you know, when you're being selfish, you know you're being selfish.
Yeah.
They don't think they're being selfish. That's the difference.
Maybe. I don't know. That's my opinion. But you want to know what?
Yes.
I never thought of it your side, and you have a valid point. I'm not saying you don't have a valid point.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. I always thought of it as selfish. So thank you for.
Well, I did too until I really, started talking to people about this, and it's just really unfortunate.
Meanwhile, this is good news for you, Jonathan.
Hey.
The CIA is releasing 13 million pages of declassified documents online. Okay,
good news for me.
Yes, I'm telling you because you are Bradshaw Live's #1 conspiracy theorist.
Oh yes.
Okay, you think
it's all coming out.
You think the man is out to get everybody,
it's all
right? You think the man?
Out.
You said the man's coming to get. It's coming out to get everybody. So now the CIA has released. Jonathan's going to say, "Well, all these documents are BS."
I was about to say. I feel like they're doing this to throw us for a loop.
The man's throwing us for a loop.
That's
right. Well, according to the CIA, these are real documents. They're releasing 13 million pages of declassified documents. The records include UFO sightings, psychic experiments from the Stargate program, which has long been an interest of conspiracy theorists. The move comes after lengthy efforts from Freedom of Information advocates in a lawsuit against the CIA. There's more than 800,000 files being released online.
So why are they being released?
Because there were people who were suing the government for, we want to know what's in Area 48 or whatever that place is in New Mexico. Mm-hmm. We want to know about all your UFO sightings and, that you put under wraps.
And you can sue the government for that?
It's called Freedom of Information Act request. And there's so many people who are suing. The government says, all right, we give up. We'll tell you everything. So the trove includes the papers of Henry Kissinger, who served as Secretary of State under President Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, as well as several 100,000 pages of intelligence analysis and science research and development. Among the more unusual records are documents from the Stargate project, which dealt with psychic powers and extrasensory perception. They include records of testing on celebrity psychic Uri Geller in 1973 when he was already an established performer. Memos detail how Mr. Geller was able to partially replicate pictures drawn in another room with varying but sometimes precise accuracy, leading the researchers to write that he demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and unambiguous manner. So the CIA said that ESP and extrasensory powers, at least in this experiment, do exist. They kept it under wraps. They didn't want anyone to know. But apparently they ran experiments and said it's true. These things are true and can happen.
I wonder if they have, do they have footage?
Well, one set of documents, I'm going to tell you what they have. One set of documents details results of psychic tests on Uri Geller where he attempted to copy drawings made by researchers within a sealed room. Other unusual records, and he got it right.
Right.
Other unusual records include a collection of reports on flying saucers and recipes for invisible ink. Much of the information has technically been available since the mid-1990s, but has been almost impossible to access. Now it's easily accessible on Google. On Google, right. A non-profit freedom of information group called Muckrock sued the CIA to force it to upload the collection onto the internet. At the same time, journalist Mike Best crowdfunded more than $15,000 to visit the archives to print out and publicly upload the records, because you had to go to this. You had to go to this brick and mortar building and request a document. You know, like in Indiana Jones. You know, the first Indiana Jones where they roll the thing into the ark at the end. Yeah, it was like we had to go into one of those buildings and request it. What do you are still?
No, it's the CIA. There's no way they're going to feel ambushed and be and just give in and throw.
So you think that these are all fake documents?
Yes.
Okay, so you think the man's giving us a fake out?
Yes.
It's possible.
There's no way the CIA would just give in and be like, okay, here you go.
It's possible.
Talking about the aliens.
It's very possible. Meanwhile...
or they probably gave, stuff that they don't really care about, I know for a fact that there's still information that they're going to withhold.
I still think that there's a green man in New Mexico, in Area 58 or whatever it is.
Yeah?
I really believe that.
Really?
Yes. Even Hillary Clinton believed it.
Really?
Yes, because she said she was going to go and...
See, I want to see it. I want to see that for myself.
I want to see this green man.
I want to see that. All these UFO pictures.
Apparently, it was an orange man who landed. And now he is the president of the United States.
Now he's the president.
Right, and that's what they're hiding. Right. So orange man came from out of space.
Men in Black.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an alien inside.
Yes. Can you imagine?
I could.
You could imagine that happening. Meanwhile, JPMorgan has pulled out of private prison industry. You're going to hear a lot about that, not only on our show, because we talk about it, and we're going to even talk about it more. You're going to hear about a lot of it in the news, because it's very relevant right now, because it is private prison systems that are jailing immigrants, people who just have general civil offenses, people who have minor offenses, and mostly people of color or dark skin or minority. And it is a private prison system that is making money on putting people in jail. Wow. And how they make money by putting people in jail, they donate to Congress. And congressman says, wow, this company just donated lots of money to my campaign. And you know what? It's really, the way these campaign finance works, by the way, Jonathan, it's really bribing. And I'll tell you why.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me tell you why. Because somebody says, I'm going to donate, I'm going to run for Congress. Brad Bernstein. I'm going to donate to my campaign. I'm going to raise $5 million, and I'm going to spend $2 million on my campaign. And I'm going to keep $3 million in the war chest.
Please.
Okay? For the next campaign. And the next campaign. And the next campaign. You keep raising that money. And then one day you retire from Congress and you have $10 million in your war chest. That doesn't go back to people.
Absolutely
Congressman gets to keep it.
Right.
And retire on it.
That's crazy.
Right? And that's totally legal.
Yeah.
So these private industry, this private prison industry, they donate to congressmen and senators to pass laws to put more people in jail, to arrest more people.
Yes.
Because they make money on every person in jail.
Absolutely.
So who finances all of this? The banks.
Right.
And you're going to hear more about this on our program. But today, JPMorgan Chase, which is the biggest bank yesterday, which is the biggest bank in the United States of America, has announced that it will no longer finance the private prison industry.
So why were they doing it at first?
Because they were making money. And
So
nobody
why
said anything to them.
So why are they taking it
Because
out now?
because there's a lot of people. How does JPMorgan lend money to people? Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias takes his paycheck from Bradshaw Live and puts it into Chase Bank. All right, they got money from you, they got money from me, they got money from Jilly, they got money from Belgium Kim, Pat Rice, Julia the TriCaster guy, and they take that money and they lend it to the prison people.
Right.
So you know what?
People
So
are
people
pulling
are pulling money out of Chase. They say, you know what? I'm going to be socially responsible. I don't want you lending my money.
Stuff like that doesn't make me like them, though. I still don't like them.
Because
they're pulling out because they're going to lose business.
Exactly. They got called out.
I feel like people should still take their money out.
Well, it's
because
possible.
obviously they don't care about the people that are going into prison. They don't care about that. They're not doing this for good morals. They're doing this because they don't want to.
They were doing it for good business.
Right,
Period.
right.
And they were lending money because it was making them money.
See, people forget about that.
And then now it's not going to make them money anymore because people are pulling out.
Good. Keep pulling out.
So
Keep pulling out.
And this is what this card says right here. It says the bank has been under fire recently for lending to two of the biggest private prison companies in America, CEO Group and Core Civic, both of which run facilities that have held immigration families. JPMorgan said it will not give the industry any new financing and that it wants to get rid of its credit exposure as soon as possible. JPMorgan Chief Executive Officer Jamie Dimon has been under pressure from critics to make this move. Protesters have even showed up at his apartment, pressuring him. Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, from Queens, has said that the House Financial Services Committee is going to start holding oversight hearings onto why big banks are lending to private prisons that hold undocumented aliens. Core Civic said it was disappointed in the news and that JPMorgan has operated an important role in creating better conditions for inmates entrusted in our care. Core Civic also said none of its prisons house kids without parent supervision, and it doesn't know the circumstances of individuals when they are placed in the facility, and our responsibility is to care for each person respectfully. You're going to hear from our show because we have done some interviews with people, which we're going to show in the next couple of weeks, where that is just not the case.
Right.
We interviewed people who were in these jails to find out what was going on. That is not the case of what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going to hear more about
I like what Marge Higgs said.
What?
She said that, let me pull it back up. She said they sold up openly during slavery and now they're selling us privately. The more prisoners, the more money. So
that is absolutely right. That is absolutely. And by the way, it is cheaper. Okay, if you say, if you say, well, we got to put people in prison because it's the only way we can guarantee that they would show up to their deportation hearing. That's why they do it. That's the purpose of it. We're going to put you in prison because we can't guarantee that you're going to show up to your deportation hearing. That's not the case. What they're doing is they're really punishing people to really get people to say, you know what, it's not worth being in America.
Right.
Okay. And who are they punishing? They're punishing brown-skinned people, black-skinned people, people who don't look like me.
Right.
Because Trump says he wants people from Norway.
Right.
He doesn't want people from shithole countries. So that's what they're doing.
Right.
And really, but the reality is this: it costs pennies on the dollar. If your true intention is make sure somebody shows up to court and you don't want them to skip out on the court and run out into America and you can't find them anywhere because you want to put them in a deportation, you can put an ankle bracelet on somebody and electronically monitor them for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep them in jail. It would be a lot cheaper. It would be a lot more humane. And it serves the same exact purpose. If that was the purpose,
right? If that was really the purpose, and that which apparently that goes to show it's not.
It shows it's not the purpose.
Right.
It shows it's not the purpose.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, leaked documents show that the U.S. government is tracking journalists and immigration advocates through a secret database. It's possible that we're on that database. I don't know. Documents obtained by NBC investigation shows that the U.S. government has created a secret database of activists, journalists, and social media influencers tied to immigration, the migrant caravan, and in some cases placed alerts on their U.S. passports. At the end of 2018, roughly 5,000 immigrants from Central America made their way north through Mexico. The story made international headlines as the migrant caravan reached the San Isidro port of entry in South San Diego County. Journalists, attorneys, advocates were there to work on their behalf, and now they are being targeted. I don't know. Maybe somebody watches us here and targets us. I have no idea.
You never know.
We don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe we're on a list.
Hey, don't put that in the universe.
You think I don't want to jinx you, right? But it's possible. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? You could be on a list for helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The source said the documents or screenshots show a SharePoint application that was used by agents in Customs Borders Patrol, the U.S. Border Patrol, Homeland Security. The intelligence gathering efforts was done under the umbrella of Operation Secure Line, the operation designed to monitor the migrant caravan. The individuals listed that they discovered, NBC, were included 10 journalists, 7 of whom were U.S. citizens, a U.S. attorney, 47 people from the United States and other countries labeled as organizers, instigators, or their roles unknown. The target list included advocates from organizations like Border Angels and Pueblo Sin Fronteras. The intelligence gathering effort is going to be targeted to anybody who was on this list who tries to enter the United States, whether they're a U.S. citizen or not. All right. So much news, we can't even get to everything, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And what is this here? We just have to talk about this because this made me a couple of funny things just to
lighten
up the mood before we get to our immigration.
All right.
In February, this is now making headlines all over Twitter. In February, someone captured and shared the internet's latest object of desire. It's called Honest Babe. It is a chiseled Abraham Lincoln statue.
What?
And it has been on display since 1939.
What?
But in this depiction, Honest Abe has become Honest Babe. And he strikes a pose sans without a shirt and without his shoes, holding a book in one hand, clutching the top of his low-slung trousers in the other, emanating beams of confidence, and it's abundantly clear from his Indiana limestone and arms and granite rock hard abs that this statue is portraying a guy who liked to work out. The young Lincoln statue first made its splashy debut at the New York World's Fair in 1939, but as one astute Twitter user who loves art history points out, it's never too late to be reminded of its existence. Reminder that the Los Angeles Federal Courthouse has a statue of Abraham Lincoln where he is shirtless young stud, suggestively tugging at his waistbands like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. This is in the courthouse.
In the courthouse?
In Los Angeles, correct. Yeah, the sexy statue of Abraham Lincoln was created by an artist by the name of James Lee Hansen. And the biggest success story in modern sculpture is the story of James Lee Hansen of Los Angeles, who's now carving an 8-foot statue of young Abraham Lincoln. Life magazine reported at the time. Well, from a sculpturing standpoint, it's better to show the body without any clothes. That's why I left them off, Hansen said.
Wow.
Yeah. Although it's not clear where his artistic ambitions took him after he cut this considerable figure, Hansen is still making his mark 80 years later. It is now being called the Gettysburg Undress.
I can't.
Honest Abs. And Twitter has had some fun with this as well. And Nicole Valentine said, I contend he looks that much better because he's holding a book. And Murin says, I'm not going to stop thinking about the Calvin Klein underwear model statue of Abraham Lincoln in the LA courthouse for at least a week.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So, yes, the Gettysburg. So the question is this. Is this the sexiest president?
I would like to hear what everybody else has to think about that.
Or are there other sexy presidents? Who else is a sexy president? I guess
I feel
people
like
say Obama. Obama.
JFK.
JFK was a sexy president. Bill Clinton was not.
He wasn't.
No. Let's see. Let's go through this. W wasn't. Bill Clinton wasn't. George the First wasn't. Ronnie wasn't.
I
The
think
peanut farmer wasn't.
I think it was only JFK and Obama.
JFK, Obama. Who else was a handsome guy? And Honest Abe.
And Honest Abe, but
If you believe this is what he looks like, if you go on the statue.
Swimsuit
Right.
edition.
Is there anybody else?
No.
You can't think of anybody else, can
No.
you? No.
What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Do you guys feel like there were any?
I don't know.
There were better looking, I think, first ladies.
Yes.
Like Jackie O.
Jackie O. Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah. Who else was a
Melania is
Melania? Yes,
hot.
of course. I'm like, who else? That's right, Melania.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else was? It goes right back to like the same, except.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so like the good-looking
guy was
presidents had the
except for
best
Donald.
looking-
Except for Donald.
Yeah,
But she just married for money. She wasn't marrying.
Absolutely.
She wasn't marrying for any other reason. Although JFK had a lot of money too. JFK was. a
But
rich
he
guy.
was also fly as hell.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
still
yes.
like messing with a bunch of other girls.
Yeah, he was with
So,
Marilyn
like,
Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Right, all that. Right. All right, Jonathan, Yo-Yo Elias. Where are we at with sharing?
All right, we are. I know we're not high.
Let's get
and-
socially conscious here, folks.
All right, yes. Let's
All
do
right,
that.
Let's get socially conscious. Take your money out of the banks and share.
Yeah, take it all out.
Take it all out.
They're not gonna fool me. If I was with Chase, I would have been taking it out. This wouldn't have changed nothing for me. I would have still took it out. But what we really need from you guys right now, we're only at 51 shares. So what I want for you guys to do right now, everybody watching, there's 77 people watching on Facebook right now. Just share at least one time. I want it to go up to 120 right now. Right now. All right? There you go. Now share and make sure you like. We love the interaction that you guys have been going through. Where I've been reading everything. You guys have been talking about the suicide prevention, suicide, if it's selfish or not. We're talking about Honest Babe, and basically everything that we have been talking about. We love that interaction. We like to hear what you guys have to think. So make sure you like, love, laugh, wow, sad face, mad face, and also talk to us. Let us know what you guys think. And I told you guys we're gonna come back to some other topics that we want to ask you guys about as well. So now don't forget, share in the inbox, because we can get the show out a lot faster with that as well. And of course on YouTube, please share as well. Copy the link, send it in the WhatsApp, like and subscribe. And also we love to hear your thoughts as well on that too. So interaction. And now we're going to the next segment where you call with your questions and Brad will answer them
Now.
Getting your answers.
Meanwhile, Patrona Collins says she's not able to share to more than 6. Then make comments. Give us a thumbs up. Give
Yeah.
us a happy face. There's lots of ways that you can participate and help us help other people too. Because
Yes.
the more comments you make, Facebook and YouTube will send this out more to the universe. The more likes you give us, Facebook and YouTube will send this out to the universe. So it's not just sharing as well. So let's go to Bianca in Raleigh, North Carolina. Bianca.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Brad.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. What's going on?
I've got a situation where my husband's being detained.
What's
He
wrong?
was ordered removed about 13 years ago, and he was on an order of supervision that's been revoked like a month ago.
Why?
And so I'm just trying to.
Let me ask you this question. I have a couple of questions for you. Why was he on an order of supervision? Why didn't they deport him for 13 years?
Why was he ordered removed?
No. Well, okay, we're going to get to why he was ordered removed in a second. But my question to you is, he was ordered deported, and for 13 years during the Bush administration, the end of the Bush administration, and all of the Obama administration, he would go to immigration every year, sign in, and they would say, okay, you could leave, even though you've been ordered deported. That's what the order of supervision is. You go and sign, you meet like your immigration officer. It's like meeting your probation officer. And although you were ordered deported, they chose not to deport you. Why did they choose for 13 years not to deport him? And then we'll talk about what's going on now. Just try to understand the background.
Yeah, he's basically not removable. He came in with the passport, which was kind of a fraudulent document.
Okay, so
it wasn't really his passport.
so what the reason why they did not deport him ever is because he has no country of origin.
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, what happens is that the government can't just throw you out of a plane over the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean. They have to bring you to a country that's willing to accept you, and only countries will accept you is if the U.S. government can prove to them that we're going to deport your citizen. And the U.S. government doesn't have proof where this person was born or what their citizenship is, and therefore they can't deport him. Unless they have definitive proof that he's a citizen of XYZ country, they are holding him illegally. Do they know where he's from now, or they just decided to be cruel, like they probably are, and just hold him for no reason?
Yeah, they're just being cruel.
All right, so what you need to do is you have to file, with the help of a good lawyer, what's called a habeas corpus petition, which is an application to bring the prisoner forward, show the government is illegally holding this person because they have no intent on physically removing him and can't physically remove him in the short term. So they're basically holding him for punishment only. All right? And we can help you with that. And if you want, hold on one second, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Mohammed Jordan. Mohammed in Jordan. Is this Mohammed in Jordan?
Yes, Mr. Brad. How are you doing?
Mohammed?
I'm doing good. I have no questions for you, but I'm just going to say thank you so much, and I appreciate what you're doing. It's a very useful show. That's what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm calling you from Jordan, and it's now 1:30 in the morning.
And you're watching.
And I'm waking up to watch your valuable information.
Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling, and thank you for watching all the way from Jordan.
Mohammed.
Yes. Let's go to my kids. My ex-wife just took my kids to Jordan, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and they had the best time. They went to Petra and Amman, and then they stayed in the desert for a day or two.
Nice.
And they said it was a really wonderful, beautiful country, and everybody was really nice there.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
they actually,
we see from Mohammed.
I should have told Mohammed while he was. I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah.
They just came back like 3-4 months ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They went. Well, no, it was more than 3-4 months ago. They went right at the end of the summer. So what was that, like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
So let's go to Elaine in Brooklyn. Elaine. All right, we're going to put Elaine on hold. Oh, there's Elaine. Okay, I was about to put you on hold. You got it just in time, Elaine, literally. What's going on?
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question. Two people, right? They were married 7 years ago in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
And then the husband went to jail in the U.S. He's an American citizen, right?
Right.
And so the wife in Jamaica, she had a child outside of the marriage because they were not together. They were sick because he went to jail. But so now he wants to file for her because he's out of jail and they make it up. But she went to the embassy twice. And the question was asked on the paper. She said, separated, single, or married. And she put separated. But now that he wants to file for her, can they get back together?
Well, they would have to be able to prove that they're back together now. But yes, they could. You know, you're allowed to fall in love, fall out of love, and fall back in love as long as it's legitimately what's going on. And as long as you can prove that, yes.
Well, how could they prove that? Because they talk on the phone because now he's on parole because he's out of jail. He's not allowed to travel.
Well,
so they talk on the phone.
It's going to be, it's going to be proof of their communications. I'm sure they text each other. In today's world, there's just as much texting as talking on phone. It's just the reality of life. So you got to show your communications and open up your life.
Okay.
All right. Hold on one second. All right. Let's go to Abdul in Newark. Abdul.
Hi. How are you, sir?
How are you, Abdul?
I'm fine, good, thank you. I just have a question. Firstly, appreciate it. Your show is really nice. I just heard about it, and I just have a question. I'm applying for my citizenship. I'm here lawfully for 5 years. 5 years and 2 months in total. I'm from Pakistan. I was doing pizza delivery back there in 2016. And within 2 months, I got like, I don't know, it was my bad luck or something. I got like, in total, altogether, I got, I believe, 7 tickets.
70
including,
tickets from
accident.
delivering. What do you work for Domino's? You have to get there in 30 minutes or less?
Yeah, like something like that, you can say.
Yeah.
But in total,
I've heard that.
7
Like
tickets.
people who work for Domino's, I've heard that because they had to get there 30 minutes or less. Had like tons and tons of tickets over.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, like 7 tickets in 2 months, and I hire a lawyer, I go there, I get rid of all the tickets, they change my checks, they give me some other tickets, and only accident and one careless driving ticket is over there. But violations are still there. I don't have any points anymore.
You paid
I'm all
everything?
clear.
You paid everything?
Yeah, I pay more than a normal ticket. I pay everything,
You
and I
owe,
pay
you owe any
almost
money?
like,
You owe any money to the government for tickets or outstanding fines or late
No,
payments?
nothing.
All right, so let me explain
Nothing.
something to you, Abdul. They cannot deny you for being a bad driver. There's nothing in the immigration
okay.
law that says you're a bad driver, you can't become a citizen. And that's what I'm hearing.
Thank you so much.
All
a lot
right.
of people were saying me, but I prefer you
Yes,
to ask.
thank you.
And where they said, did you ever got cited? I have to say no or yes over there. I was kind of confused.
Well, I think the question is, have you ever gotten cited except for a traffic violation? So read the question very carefully.
No.
I believe my recollection is, and I don't memorize what all the forms say, but I believe my recollection is it says, have you ever been cited for anything other than a traffic violation?
No, they
What does it
don't
say?
write it that way.
Okay, so then,
they said, have you ever got
play it safe and say yes and submit it. Okay, still won't deny you.
Okay, thank you
All right,
so
you're
much.
welcome.
I really appreciate
Okay.
it. Have a good day.
All right, let's go to Marie in Queens. Marie.
Hello.
Hi, Marie.
Hi. My question is, what if I want to do my citizenship and I'm on a tax payment plan where when you file, you owe, so you have to pay it, but you have on a payment plan. Does that affect
Well,
my
as
citizenship?
long as you're on a payment plan and you're following the payment plan, it will not affect your citizenship.
Okay, great.
What the problem? If you paid if you filed a tax return and didn't pay your taxes and made no effort to pay your taxes, that's a problem. If you're making an effort on a payment plan, that's not a problem.
Okay. What if I want you guys to do it for me?
I'm happy to help you. Hold on one second. Let's go to Chris in Atlanta, Georgia. Chris.
Hello.
How are you, Chris?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for taking my call. I just have one quick question. I am doing an adjustment of status through my wife here in America. I'm wondering how important it is when you're doing that adjustment. Do you need to, if it's important that you send in a medical when you're sending your first set of documents, or can wait till the interview?
Do the medical at the time of the interview, because the interviews are taking so long now that the medical may expire if you do it now.
Okay, so I don't necessarily have to do it now then?
Actually, should not do it now.
Okay.
Do it at the time of the interview.
Okay, thank you, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. That's it for the calls today, Jonathan. All right. But I did read, before we go into our social media, Kylie Jenner.
Oh.
Yeah, did you see? She became the world's youngest self-made billionaire. At least that's what she's claiming. Kylie Jenner, the founder of Kylie Cosmetics, has become the world's youngest self-made billionaire after her company signed an exclusive partnership with Ulta Beauty Inc. She's 21 years old, and she is worth $1.02 billion, according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, which assumes that she owns 90% of her company and ascribes the rest to her mother, Kris, who takes a management fee in exchange for handling the public relations and finance. Jenner, who, as everybody knows, is the half-sister of Kim Kardashian. By the way, I have a picture with me and Kylie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wish I knew this was going to be here. Oh, well. The company posted $360 million of revenue last year, a 9% increase. So some people, however, are not too happy about her being named a self-made billionaire, saying she definitely
'Cause
is
she's
not self-made. I'll
She's
tell
not.
you what a few people said on Twitter,
Mhm.
and then I know you have some thoughts on this as well. Rob Betty says Kylie Jenner is not a self-made billionaire. Her family was already worth millions and incredibly famous, and all she did was leverage her fame, fortune, and family name. Calamarki says, yes, self-made billionaire Kylie Jenner. Can't believe how far she's come from that little council estate in the slums of Carlisle, California.
Right.
And Sam Khalidi said, Kylie Jenner is not a self-made billionaire. She would be serving you frappuccinos at Starbucks if it wasn't for Kim Kardashian and a Ray J sex tape. Wow, that's a little harsh. Or that's true.
Facts.
It's a fact. Hashtag facts.
Hashtag facts.
Yes. Forbes has released their annual list of the 10 wealthiest celebrities in America, and Kylie Jenner is tied with Jay-Z for 5th place with $900 million. Now, Jay-Z is a self-made.
Exactly. That's
okay,
a self-made.
that's a self-made man. All right.
That's definitely a self-made man.
Yeah. Now, currently, Jenner is the wealthiest in the family. Kim Kardashian West is only worth $350 million, and she's the one who made the porno tape.
Right. So thanks to her
Thanks to
little
her.
cooch.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets
right,
to eat.
That's right. I guess. Apparently, Jenner found a number of over-friendly DMs in her Instagram box, which led to what is this? What is? Unfortunately, though, money can't buy certain things, including loyalty. Reportedly, Jenner's baby daddy, Travis Scott, has been busy chatting up other ladies on Instagram while she was raking in the cash. Apparently, Jenner found a number of over-friendly DMs in his Instagram's inbox, which led Travis Scott to delete his account to prove his loyalty. You know about this?
Yes.
Yeah, TMZ reports that he told her the messages didn't amount to anything more than innocent flirting. We don't exactly know what's really happened, but there's a life lesson here. If you land yourself an ultra-successful billionaire who is also pretty damn easy on the eyes, maybe don't cheat on her.
She's not self-made.
Not self-made.
She's definitely not self-made.
All right, you don't think she's self-made?
No, because self-made is exactly what it says. You know, you're self-made. The actual definition is made by oneself, having become successful or rich by one's own efforts, and it was
Well,
not.
she certainly works hard.
Not saying that she doesn't,
Right.
but that's not being the first self or the youngest self-made
Right,
billionaire.
she is a billionaire.
She is a billionaire, but
she earned it, but she is not self-made.
Exactly.
There was a lot of things that happened to give her the advantage that other people didn't have.
We don't
Right.
like.
So
grow
when
up-
you say you're self-made, that means you had no advantage and you really pulled yourself up from
That's
nothing.
self-made.
That's self-made.
Yeah.
But certainly she worked hard for it.
She did. I mean, and it's a very successful business. You know, and kudos to her. Like,
Right.
you know, that's a huge thing. She got it before Mark Zuckerberg hit that point when he was 23 years old. She's 21.
Mark Zuckerberg is self-made.
He's self-made
Right.
because he came from a family. I think one of his parents was a psychiatrist, the other one was a dentist.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
he wasn't
just
worth
a regular Jewish
Right,
family.
right,
You know,
exactly,
and they
right.
weren't wealthy like
Right,
that.
I mean, they
to
were
what-
upper middle class, but they weren't like giving him, starting him off with $10 million.
Exactly.
Right.
No, like, so that, and then you also have to go off of this whole social media thing, you know, and that's why, like, I mean, across all boards of any industry, there's going to be so many records that are going to break just because of social media. Like the youngest rapper to hit like a billboard or something. It's like this white girl now, you know what I mean? It's like a little white, that Catch Me Outside girl from
Right.
Dr. Phil.
Right.
She broke a Queen Latifah and a Lil Kim record, which is ridiculous, but it's only because of social media. So I don't take all this social media stuff seriously. That's not being self-made. You know,
Well, those are joke rappers. Those aren't.
It's joke rappers, but they're breaking records.
Yeah, well, they're making money for somebody.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean they're an artist.
At all.
Right, but
At
you know, it
all.
doesn't
So
mean they're
that's
an
what I'm
artist,
saying.
but they're making money for somebody.
All of that I take into consideration, and when you're talking about self-made, you know, I take all of that into consideration. I don't feel like she is self-made, but kudos to her for being a billionaire.
And sadly, the last thing I want to talk about here is Jeopardy host Alex Trebek has revealed that he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
That one hit me.
He's the longtime Jeopardy host. He's 78 years old. And he said just yesterday, just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year this week, I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Pat Sajak, who's the host of Wheel of Fortune, said he would never bet against Trebek.
Oh.
Yeah, Pat Sajak's tweet says the Sajak family is deeply saddened to hear Alex Trebek struggle with cancer. Our hearts go out to him and his family, but there is no one I know who is stronger or more determined. Sony Pictures Television Chairman Mike Hopkins said, if anyone can beat this, it's Alex. He has our full support. About 56,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2019, and 45,000 of them will die this year from it.
Sheesh.
So it sounds like it's a death sentence when you get it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But we do want to know what you guys think. Do you guys feel that Kylie Jenner is a self-made billionaire? Why or why not? And also, of course, throw out your condolences and prayers for Alex Trebek too, because that's my uncle right there.
He's your uncle?
He's like my white uncle.
You grew up watching him every day at 7 o'clock.
Him and Pat Sajak.
Yes.
On Wheel of Fortune.
I remember I used to go visit my grandmother when I was younger.
Oh, look at them.
And Grandma would always watch Wheel of Fortune. It was her thing.
My grandmother did too.
I would sit there and I'm like, oh my God. And then it was back to back Wheel of Fortune, 30 minutes, and then I had 1 hour of Pat Sajak.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
My grandmother did too, but my grandmother knew no English, so she called the show T. So like we grow up watching these people.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely prayers out to him and his family.
Right, and we don't know him, but
we feel like we do. He's been in our house.
That's right.
More than other friends. So
all right. Yeah. All right. So any event, let's. We have 2 more calls, and then we're going to go to social media check-in. All right. Let's speak to Clement first. Clement.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good, good. What's going on?
Yes, I have a question.
I got an answer if you give me the question.
Okay. Yes, I have a wife, and she's from Puerto Rico. Yeah. So she got here. Then we did the stuff. I claimed her. So we did the immigration stuff. So now we are waiting. So my question is, because we want to have a baby, so it will mess up with it. Okay.
Yeah, are you saying you and your wife are waiting? You're waiting for a green card. Your wife filed for you. You'd like to have a baby. Will a baby mess you up? No, a baby is a beautiful thing to have.
No, we are not waiting for the green card.
What?
We are waiting because we did the first step. We did the I-130.
Tell me what your question is. Tell me what the question is.
Okay, the question is, because she doesn't have insurance, so if she got pregnant, it will be a problem?
Oh, because she's going to get Medicaid for the baby. No, because the Medicaid is for the baby, not for her, so it's fine.
No, I about to pay for the hospital,
Medicaid would pay for an uninsured person. And it's the payments are for the unborn child who's a U.S. citizen, not your wife. It's okay.
I don't understand.
I can't explain it better than to say it's okay because Medicaid is paying for an unborn child. The payments for the are going for an unborn child, not going to your wife who signed the affidavit of support. Hold on one second. Maybe you need a consultation. Hold on one second. Let's go to Mark in the Bronx.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I have my friend online. You want to talk to you.
You want what?
I have my friend online. You want to talk to you. He comes from West Africa.
Okay. Where's the friend? Mark just
Hello?
wanted to introduce the friend. Okay, how are you, friend of Mark?
Fine.
What's your question, friend of Mark?
The question is that if this person was convicted of a conspiracy to commit forced labor,
conspiracy for what?
If the person was convicted of aiding and abetting, conspiracy of aiding and abetting.
Aiding and abetting?
Human trafficking.
Aiding and abetting what?
Human trafficking.
Trafficking.
And he was trafficking, yes. And he was sentenced to 54 months. And after that, he was deported back to his country. But he has a wife and kids over there.
He's never coming back.
Is it possible that person could be eligible to file?
No, never. He was convicted of a drug trafficking offense. He was deported under the laws as they stand now. He's not allowed to come back ever.
How about you can't file under I-212C
No.
waiver
No.
to the hardship of his wife and kids?
No. That should have been, if you were eligible, it should have been done during the deportation process. But he wasn't eligible for it, most likely. What the law says is that if you are convicted of the crime of any sort of crime of drug trafficking and aiding and abetting a conspiracy to traffic drugs is drug trafficking. You aided and abetted in it. You went to jail for 54 years or whoever you're talking about. They got deported. They had a deportation hearing. I'm not sitting here and telling you it's fair or not fair because I simply don't know your case. What I am telling you is that for a fact, it's #fact, that if you get deported for a drug trafficking offense, there is no waiver.
Not drug. It's not drug.
It was what?
It's not drug.
What was it?
It's not drug trafficking.
What was it?
It's conspiracy to commit forced labor due to human trafficking.
Conspiracy to commit what? What trafficking?
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the conspiracy. His charge was aiding and abetting.
Right. You were aiding and abetting it as a human trafficker. Also, no waiver for that. So in other words,
even the person.
Even if the person was.
Even the person is married to Susan.
Even if the person's married to an American citizen. If you were convicted of any sort of human trafficking, smuggling, what it's under the INA is smuggling. If you are a convicted smuggler of people or assisted in that, unfortunately there is no waiver for that. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that's fair or not fair, because I've seen lots of situations where somebody was convicted of smuggling because they drove their cousin across the border from Canada. And ended up, and they said, told their cousin, go. I know this for a fact because I had this case, and the guy's like, told his cousin, go sit in the trunk, and I'll drive you across the border. And he's helping his cousin out. Next thing you know, the guy goes to jail for 2 to 3 years for smuggling an alien in, and gets deported and can't never come back again. So I'm not saying, I don't know what your particular situation was. I thought that was a little harsh because he was just trying to help his cousin out. To be barred forever from ever being in America. Other times, people, there's horrific, and I'm not saying it's you or anything or whoever we're talking about. I mean, there are horrific stories of people who traffic in women and it's a horrible thing. So I don't know where you stand or what happened. I'm just telling you it doesn't matter. They lump everybody together. The guy who tried to smuggle his cousin in the trunk of his car because he was doing his cousin a favor, and the person who's human trafficking in women for prostitution, they lump them all together. You're a human smuggler. You can never come back again. And that's sad, but that's what it is.
The person can't even apply for 212 waiver or 600 waiver.
No.
Nothing like that.
Sorry about that. Okay. All right. With that, we got to do something, Jonathan, that we like to call here social media check-in.
All right, for our first question of the day, Jennifer Survivor says, how long does it take for an I-130 to be approved for a parent?
It should take 6 to 9 months, but it's taken over a year now.
Melanie says, can a stepdad file an I-130 for a stepchild under 21?
Yes, as long as the marriage happened under 18.
Renard says, I applied for a SIJ in New York and recently got an intend to deny letter from the USCIS for being over 18, but I was under 21. What should I do?
Respond and say they're wrong, know you're going to get denied, and appeal.
Stanford John says, good evening, Brad. If you got your 2-year green card to remove the condition, does it take another interview?
Yes.
Gazamilla TV says, if a marriage is over 2 years, what kind of green card will a child under 21 get? A 2-year or a 10-year?
A 10-year.
Okay, we got one from the same Arabic name that I cannot read.
It's Muhammad.
Okay, sure. No,
it's not Muhammad. I don't know. I was thinking of Muhammad, the guy from Jordan. That's what I was thinking.
It's an actual Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Hello, Brad. How are you?
Okay, very good.
Good. I'm gonna. So the question is, I was asking, I did my interview on December 3rd, 2018 at the U.S. Embassy in Mauritania. So they asked about this.
We've
they
spoken to
asked
this guy
about this,
before.
but I
Yeah.
don't think he or she got the answer that she needed or he
Okay.
needed. The consul did not ask me any questions at the time of the interview. He just returned my passport back with the slip, that white slip, and said, email us and answer the questions we asked on the slip. It was 6 questions, simple. Just my sister's and brother's name, the countries with addresses that I've been in for the last 5 years, jobs that I did, and I emailed them everything in the same day. Until now, I've been waiting for 3 months, more than 3 months. When I check on my the status the visa online, it says that I am in AP. So I would like to know if I have a chance to get a visa yet or not, and what I have to do with that, because I'm so worried that
you're in administrative processing, and the reason that they gave you all this information or requested this information is for more background checks on you and your family. Wait a few months. Wait 3 months if you haven't heard anything.
3 more months?
How many months has it been already?
It's been over 3 months already.
Then they would need to have a consultation with me, and we would have to call the embassy in Mauritania. Is this where it is?
Yes.
Or Mauritius, did he say?
Mauritania.
And start putting some pressure on them.
Okay, so you're gonna have to call because
Yeah.
you've been asking for like the past 3 days. You got your answer now.
Right.
Call in. Ekalea. I didn't work out throughout the last year because I was told to have a total rest at home, but I do make hair for people that come around and pay me in cash. Can I still file tax returns, and how do I go about doing this?
Yeah, you're an independent contractor. You declare all the cash you earned and you file it.
All right. And who do we have for that?
Carmela. Call us, Carmela. I forgot. Thank you, Carmela.
Yes, because I'm about to use her.
Yes.
So yeah, you should definitely do that. And it's free consultation. How about that? Harry Pawan says, "Hey, I applied for the I-130 February." In February 2017, I received the receipt and status showing now my case was received at the local office. And now, how long do I need to wait for an interview? I asked my lawyer when I need to go file the AOS. So, yeah.
It's 12 to 24 months for an interview from the time you file.
Okay. So my lawyer said, wait, she just took my marriage certificate only.
Why are you waiting?
Why?
Yeah.
The lawyer said.
File your adjustment. There's no reason to wait.
All right. Kazagui says, how long does it take to wait for an interview after the I-360 VAWA has been approved in February 5th? I'm currently in Houston, Texas.
Should be like momentarily after the I-360 is approved, but unfortunately they're taking 12, 18 months.
Ciao Bella says, hello squad. Is a stepfather and a grandfather considered immediate relatives?
A stepfather is
and a grandfather.
A stepfather is, a grandfather is not.
All right. QR Hassan says, I applied for my I-485 through my U.S. Citizen wife from the F1 visa. I've received my case numbers and fingerprints is also completed in December 2018. Now, do I have to maintain the F1? My school is pressuring about that.
They filed an adjustment?
Yes, and
you do not need to maintain the F1. You don't even need to go to school anymore.
So why would the school be pressuring about that?
I don't know, but once you file the adjustment, you're no longer
so
on
they
a student
received
visa.
The case numbers and fingerprints
That's
also
fine.
completed?
Yeah, you don't need to be on a student visa anymore.
All right. Kamal says, I have a question. A friend of mine and her husband came to the U.S. 25 years ago on someone else's documents. Can they ever get a green card? They went out a lot. They went to a lot of lawyers, and they were basically turned away or ripped off.
Why? How are they going to get their green card? Why? How?
A friend of mine and her husband came to the U.S. 25. So they came. I guess they both came on someone else's documents. So. Yes, you're going to have to figure out how.
I came to a Magic 8 Ball. This person came 25 years ago, and they went to a bunch of lawyers and said they can't help. Can I help them? That's all we know.
Yes.
My reply is no. That's what the Magic 8 Ball says, but I would say maybe. Come make an appointment.
So there are different ways that they can
I don't know.
it.
Perhaps, yeah.
All right. So that means you have to call for a consultation.
But I really read what the Magic 8 Ball says.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Shay Murray says, how soon after you do your biometrics for the naturalization will you hear from the USCIS, and what will be their next step?
You're going to get your work permit, your advance parole, and then you're going to wait on your interview.
Ken Kibbett says, squat up. Brad, you mentioned a new change of law to the F1 visa. What happens if a student overstays their visa or falls out of status?
They get the 3 and 10 year bar the day start counting against you. In the past, it didn't. So let's say you came on a student visa years ago, you fell out of status, you didn't go to school, government never asked you to leave, you get sponsored a job, you can go home, come back, you don't have a 10-year bar, you don't need a waiver. Now you have a 10-year bar, you need a waiver.
All right. The person with the Arabic name just said, Jonathan, please tell Brad what Brad said about my question because of Wi-Fi. But I'm about to say, like, you can always rewind.
Right,
you could always rewind, and this will always be on the internet for
Forever.
life. So, all right. Sue Green says, my friend overstayed his visa, got married to a U.S. citizen. He got his combo card. Does he have to do a waiver before going to Jamaica so the 10-year bar is not triggered coming back to the USA pending 484?
No, if you have advanced parole, you do not need a waiver.
Legs 11 Tag says, would getting married on a visitor's visa within 90 days and applying for an I-130 and an I-485 from within the U.S. result in a denial of the visa and unable to attend interview to adjustment of status?
Why did they get a visa? I don't say that again. That doesn't make any sense. You're adjusting your status.
With getting married on a visitor's visa within the 90 days and applying for an I-130 and I-485.
That's a pretty bad idea. Don't do it.
Right.
Because that's fraud. You're already admitting to fraud.
Right. Because
you
said
can't
you
get
would
married
have to,
within the first 90 days.
Within the you should wait till after the 94,
right.
90. Okay.
Because you already told the world you're coming with a preconceived intent to get married, which is exactly what the government says you can't do.
So how about if they already did? I don't know if this means that they already did file the I-130.
Then they need a waiver.
You need a waiver. Yeah. All right. Mir Spanish says, I'm not a citizen of the U.S., but my son is. How can I apply for citizenship?
You can't.
You can't file for your son?
You need a green card first. Your son, hopefully, is over 21 and can file for your green card.
Okay, so if your son is over 21.
Right.
Yeah. Shauna K. Pert says, how long does it take for a green card holder to get his spouse a green card?
3 years.
So this is, baby.
Oh, baby.
So this is Mir Spanish. This is an update. The son is 1 year old.
You can't get a green card. You can't come to the United States, give birth, and say, now I want a green card.
Right.
You have to wait for the child to be 21 or find another way.
Yeah. Zone Powell says, hey, Brad, how long does it take for an I-130 to approve for a child who is 8 years old?
It should take 6 months, but it's taking close to 12 or longer now.
All right, let me...
And by the way, if after 6 months you should be filing a mandamus and coming to see us to do it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people shouldn't be waiting this long.
Right. All right, that is it right now.
All right, so I had recently spoken. This is a really good, sad story. It's very important to watch. With Sindy Ortiz Flores, who fled violence in her home country of Honduras with her partner Kevin and 3 children to ask for asylum in the United States. Mm-hmm. Sindy and Kevin were separated on their way to the Southern U.S. border. They were separated by the Mexican military, who's been basically being the United States' lapdog. Believe it or not, the Mexican military is stopping migrants from coming before they even reach the border. Mm. When Kevin reached the border, he was taken into custody by ICE and separated from their 18-month-old daughter, Greshel, who goes by her middle name, Juliet. They took the baby into a different detention facility than Kevin. Mm. So the mother was running from the Mexican police in Mexico. Kevin was arrested by ICE, and they took the 18-month-old daughter to another facility. Mm. The whole family being separated, just trying to flee violence and apply for asylum. So after Sindy reached the border with her 2 older children, she realized Juliet was taken by the United States authorities, and after a month of anguish and stress, Julie was finally reunited with Sindy with the help of a nonprofit group, Mahente. Sindy, with a translator and the community organizer for Mahente, joined me to talk about Sindy's family's ordeal. Let's watch. Sindy Ortiz Flores fled violence from her home country in Honduras to ask for asylum in the United States with her partner, Kevin Joel Ventura Corrales, her two 9- and 7-year-old children, and her and Kevin's 18-month-old daughter, Juliet. When the family reached Puebla, Mexico, Sindy and the two older children were separated from Kevin and Juliet. When Kevin reached the Southern U.S. Mexican border near Calexico on December 28, 2018, he was arrested for illegal reentry, and Juliet was taken from him by authorities and sent to a holding facility in Texas. Once Sindy arrived at the border and found out that her 18-month-old child, Juliet, had been taken from Kevin by the United States government, it was a harrowing ordeal for her to try to get her daughter back. Finally, Sindy and Juliet were reunited on January 29, 2019. Something she says would never have happened without the assistance of the not-for-profit group Mi Gente. Joining me today is Sindy Ortiz Flores, Jacinta Gonzalez, campaign manager for Mi Gente, and Lisa Castellanos, translator and Mi Gente volunteer. Welcome all, and thank you all for joining us. Sindy, it was quite a horrifying experience to be separated from your daughter and have a stranger take care of your 18-month-old child.
Sí, fue yo creo que una de las peores cosas que me han pasado. Yes, it's been one of the worst things I've ever been through.
How did you and your partner, Kevin, get separated in Mexico? And how did he end up with your 18-month-old? This all happened prior to you coming up to the border.
Pues generalmente cuando uno viene en el camino hacia Estados Unidos, cuando vienes por México, corre peligro de que migración mexicana te detenga y te deporte a tu país, y nosotros no queríamos eso.
So generally, when you're traveling up through Mexico, it's very possible for Mexican authorities to separate you. So we didn't want that to happen.
You left Tegucigalpa, Honduras. That's 1,700 miles from the U.S.-Mexican border. You had to take a bus, a train called the Beast. Did you talk about with Kevin before you started this trip to the U.S.-Mexican border that there would be a possibility that you would be separated and what you would do if that were to happen?
Hablamos bastante, sobre los peligros que había. Era peligroso por tantas cosas que pasan malas en el camino.
We did talk about the dangers of the journey. We talked about the risks. We talked about possible kidnappings.
Nos podían asaltar.
That we could be assaulted.
Pero la dificultad de estar en nuestro país era peor.
But the danger of remaining in our country was worse.
I understand.
Pues así como un plan, pues no, pero yo traía claro de que podía pasar cualquier cosa. Él traía claro también que nos podía pasar cualquier cosa.
We didn't really have a plan, but we knew that we might confront anything.
Coming up from Honduras through Central America, tell us what happened in Mexico, how you and Kevin and your family and that beautiful daughter of yours got separated.
Pues nosotros tuvimos a la niña internada en Puebla. Tuvimos varios días internados. Pues cuando nosotros salimos del hospital, pues decidimos agarrar el tren de nuevo. Dormíamos en el tren. Y entonces de repente nos vamos para las vías del tren. Había más personas y también esperando. Y resulta que cayó migración.
Okay.
Bueno,
espera. So when we were in Puebla, we had to take the baby to the clinic, and when they discharged the baby from the clinic, we heard that the train was going to be leaving soon. So when we headed to the train, that is when Mexican immigration authorities arrived.
How many days were you traveling from Honduras by the time you got to Puebla, Mexico?
No tengo calculado cuánto, pero ya teníamos como 15 días, creo, más.
I don't have the exact dates, but it was about 15 days of traveling at that point.
And your baby was sick at that point as well?
Estaba con neumonía.
She had pneumonia.
Oh my gosh.
She didn't have much of a fever, but she was having respiratory problems, and so we decided to take her to the doctor in Puebla.
Tell me what happened at the train station in Puebla, Mexico, that all of a sudden you and your family got separated.
Entonces resulta que todo el mundo salió a la carrera. Yo me acuerdo que solo agarré a mi niña Ashley, a Joshua, y salí a la carrera y de repente no supe más de qué ni de la niña.
At that moment, when Mexican immigration authorities arrived, there was all of a sudden a lot of activity, a lot of movement, and all I remember doing is reaching for my daughter Ashley and my son Joshua. And at that point, I didn't know where Kevin and the baby were.
Were there a lot of Central Americans at that train station getting on the train to go north?
De Guatemala, de El Salvador, de Nicaragua, había muchas personas ahí esperando. Y yo me acuerdo que solo agarré a mis niños y salí a la carrera.
There were many different people from Central America, including Guatemala and Nicaragua, waiting to get on the train. And all I remember doing is just grabbing for my two older children as soon as I could.
It was basically Mexican soldiers coming. They had guns, they had rifles. What did they come and do when you said they had activity? Were they arresting people?
Pues la verdad que yo no me quedé para mirar, pero sí me fijé que estaban golpeando a las personas. Yo incluso me metí como en un monte, un barranco, ahí estuve como casi, no les sabría decir exactamente cuándo, pero alrededor de más de 2 horas, 3 horas estuve ahí escondida. Incluso escuché cuando pasó el tren, pero no quise salir.
Yes, I did hear the Mexican immigration authorities hitting people, but actually I didn't have enough time to really pay attention because I just found a place to hide with my children where and I hid for a couple of hours to be out of the sight of the police. And I heard the train when it left, but I didn't leave my hiding place at that point.
You were able to see out of the corner of your eye when the Mexican authorities left, and that's only when you were able to come out?
No podía ver, pero después de estar tiempo ahí escondida, entonces dije yo voy a salir. Y incluso les decía a mis niños que se quedaran, que no hicieran ruido, que yo iba a salir a ver si todavía estaba la policía, pero no, todavía no había nadie.
So we didn't really have a line of sight where we were hiding, and I even told my children to not make any noise at all. After some time, I went to check to see if the coast was clear, and at that point, everyone was gone.
Más que miedo, me sentía desesperada e impotente porque no sabía qué hacer.
I felt desperate and powerless because I didn't know what to do.
And what about your children? How were they?
Pues al principio a la que más le afectó fue a Ashley, porque como es la mayor, es la que sabía que ya no estábamos con Kevin. Sí, le daba miedo, porque ya solo éramos nosotros y ya era diferente.
My older child, Ashley, was most impacted at first because she's old enough to know that we were no longer with Kevin and that it was just going to be the 3 of us. So she was the most impacted at first.
Did you and Kevin have cell phones? Were you able to call him or text him?
No, la verdad que no teníamos ningún medio de comunicación. Que cuando yo me acuerdo que cuando salí para buscarlo y no lo encontré, yo me desesperé totalmente porque no hallaba qué hacer, pero incluso nosotros ya habíamos hablado que si algún día nos separábamos teníamos que seguir el camino y llegar hasta nuestro destino, porque así íbamos a saber el uno del otro.
When I came out of the hiding place and realized that we were separated, I was desperate and didn't know what to do because we had no way to communicate with each other at that point. But we had agreed that if at any point we were going to be separated in the journey, that we were going to continue the journey and that we would meet up at the border.
How'd you get from Puebla, Mexico, to the border?
Pues ahí en Puebla me estuve como no sé, unos días ahí esperando, tal vez yo en mi mente que iba a llegar Kevin y me iba a decir que no sé, cualquier cosa. Estuve preguntando por él y todo, pero nadie me dio respuesta, entonces decidí seguir mi camino.
So I stayed a few days in Puebla, hung around there, thinking that Kevin would show up and find us. I even asked around if people had seen him, and then I realized that I needed to continue the journey north.
How did you pay for food?
Pues no, la verdad que la gente de México muy buena, porque nos apoyaron bastante. Me acuerdo que una señora que nos dio hasta dónde quedarnos también a dormir.
It was the generosity of the Mexican people that helped us. A woman who gave us a place to stay for a while.
Incluso me quedé 2 días en una iglesia católica.
And we even stayed in a church, in a Catholic church, for a couple of days.
So Jacinta Gonzalez, you're the campaign organizer for Mi Gente. Tell us a little bit about what Mi Gente is and what Mi Gente does.
So Mi Gente is a political home for Latinx and Chicanx folks that are organizing both digitally and in real life around issues that impact our community. And so we're a network of members that are across the country, and we also do both online and in real life campaigns around some of these issues.
How did you first find out that baby Juliet, this beautiful 18-month-old child, was separated from her dad, Kevin, in jail?
As Mi Gente, we've really been looking at some of the issues that are coming up with this administration's criminalization agenda. And so one of the issues that we've been seeing is more and more people that are crossing the border being prosecuted simply for coming to this country. And particularly people like Kevin, who have been deported before and have come back. Those are the people who are the most criminalized and the people who are paying the highest price, in addition to being separated from their children. So we were in communication with the public defender's office in San Diego, who's been doing amazing work. And it was actually through Kevin's defense attorney, part of the San Diego Defenders, that we heard about this case and understood that even though Sindy had been released, she wasn't being given her child back, and the agencies were dragging their feet in terms of being able to allow for the family reunification.
Well, certainly it's always been on the books that if you've been ordered deported and you try to re-enter the United States, it is a criminal offense. It is being prosecuted now like none other before. Many times it was only prosecuted if you were a criminal alien, meaning that you were deported because you committed a criminal offense. Now they're deporting people who just trying to make a better life for themselves, or maybe in the case of Kevin and Sindy, just literally escaping violence and making criminals of them. But this all separation of Juliet from Kevin, Donald Trump over the summer said he's not going to do it anymore, yet they were separated. Do you know why that happened?
Even though they signed the bill that says that they were going to try to not separate as many families, there wasn't a direct order saying that it was never going to happen again. And what we're actually seeing is that they're using the excuse of the label of someone being considered quote unquote a criminal against people to justify these actions.
Right.
Because they see it as a quote unquote felony, that is their excuse to do this. But one of the things that was the most alarming about this case is they actually hid it from the court. So for the first 3 court appearances that Kevin had, the court didn't even have any indication that his child had been taken from him because authorities didn't put it on his charging document. What is happening is there's a lack of accountability with the courts and with the agencies that are prosecuting people, and there's a lack of accountability and transparency with this administration. The use of family separation is a way of terrorizing communities that have already undergone tremendous historic violence from the authorities, from the government, from separating parents and from their children when slavery, from doing it with indigenous communities as like part of their tactics of war and conquer. We've seen them do it again and again, and this is part of that same pattern.
I believe we're saying the same exact thing. I don't believe that Kevin should have been separated from his child simply because he didn't do anything violent or he didn't do anything that would cause anybody to believe that this child is in any danger being there with him. It was done simply as a punishment to Kevin and really punished an 18-month-old child. When you found out about this, what were the concrete steps that Mi Gente did to reunite Juliet with Sindy?
The Department of Health and Services that had Juliet in their custody was demanding that Sindy hand over a credit card where it could be charged up to $4,000 for flights to be reunited with her kid. And they were also asking Kevin sign a form stating that he authorized the mother to take custody, but they were insisting that this form be notarized, which is impossible to do in the state of Arizona. The only folks that were able to do that was actually ICE agents themselves. They were putting so many structural barriers for Sindy to be reunited with her child. And so what we decided to do with her consent and working together with her was to, one, talk to the media about the story. And so both through her public defender and through our efforts, several reporters were notified of what was happening, and we also contacted representatives from different locations to let them know about the situation and get them to intervene. It literally took a national media and political scandal to reunite this baby with her mother, and that isn't possible to do for the thousands and thousands of people who have gone through this. Thanks to Lisa and other Mi Gente members in San Francisco and the Bay Area, it's gotten a great support network with health services and housing and other things, but the challenges are tremendous. from, being evicted and finding a safe place to live. We've been able to push as much as we can, but the gap is still so big.
Sure. Was it difficult to actually locate Juliet?
Kevin's criminal defense attorney, as well as the congressional offices, were able to talk to the social worker in charge of her case. But from what I know, we were never able to get an exact location of where she was. And that was one of the things that was the most frustrating, I know, for Sindy, just knowing that an 18-month-old can't really communicate to you where she is, what's happening, what kind of treatment she's getting. And so those unknown factors make the experience even more anxiety-producing.
When you had an opportunity to see Juliet, how did she look? Did she look healthy?
She looked very different. She was underweight. She had a respiratory issue. Venía bien llorona. She was crying inconsolably. Le tenía miedo a todas las personas. And she was terrified of everybody.
La primera semana fue bien difícil porque no podíamos salir porque ella le tenía miedo a todo el mundo, solo con que le hablaran, que se le acercaran. Ella, incluso la estoy llevando a un psicólogo porque tiene como ese trauma todavía de cuando la separaron de papá.
The first week was so hard because I couldn't even take her outdoors. Anybody that she saw that got close to her, that looked at her, that spoke to her, would terrify her. And in fact, I'm currently taking her to a pediatric or psychologist to help begin to deal with the trauma that she experienced.
How did you feel when you saw Juliet? I can't imagine what you went through as a parent myself.
Me sentía muy feliz por verla, o sea, fue un sentimiento que cuando vuelve a ver, volver a ver el amor de mi vida, porque mi hija para mí lo es todo, y mirarla tan diferente, tan cambiada, me hacía sentir impotente porque la miraba martirizada, ya no era la misma niña, todo en ella había cambiado un poco.
When I first saw her, I was so happy and seeing the love of your life for the first time because she's everything to me. And then I felt powerless because I saw how much she had changed, how much weight she had lost, and everything that she had been through.
The kids are all in therapy now. What is the doctor saying what their prognosis is now, short term, long term?
Pues la verdad que el psicólogo me dijo que estábamos avanzando porque todo era poco a poco, porque a ella le había afectado bastante el hecho de que le hayan separado del papá de la manera violenta en que lo hicieron, porque como a él se la quitaron, ella miró cuando golpearon al papá y eso no, yo creo que no es algo fácil, porque incluso cualquiera puede decir está muy chiquita y no entiende, pero así como a uno de madre le duele lo que le pase a los hijos, yo me imagino que ellos han de sentir el mismo dolor por uno de padre, y al mirar cómo tiraban al piso a su papá y lo golpearon y se la quitaron y no lo volvió a ver, yo creo que eso fue un trauma para ella.
The doctor says that Gretchen is making small steps and that everyone is slowly going to improve. But the reality is that the baby saw her father thrown to the ground and beaten as she was taken away from her father forcefully. And even though some people will say that, she's so little, she's not going to remember, she won't be affected, it's obvious that, that it must have affected her to see her father go through that and for her to be separated in that way.
It's a total stress on a child that child lives with for a long time. Hopefully she'll get better over time. Jacinta, do you have a message for Donald Trump after knowing what Sindy and Juliet went through and the thousands of others who are being separated from their family?
Our message to this administration is that we have to continue to stand up against what we see very clearly is an agenda that is just promoting terror, that is just promoting incarceration, that is just promoting trauma of children and communities alongside the border, both folks that are looking to come in for protection, but also communities that have long lived at the border. What we're seeing is that he's using immigration as a political stunt and a political football to rile up his base at the expense of people's fundamental human rights. And so for us, we continue to demand he does not get any more funding to continue to militarize the border and continue to expand his deportation force, that he no longer get any funding for these baseless prosecutions that are simply spending more money, that are increasing incarceration and are not helping create more safety for people. For us, we continue to organize with people that will stand against these prosecutions, because we know that they're not just happening in the border, they're happening throughout the country. And that, unfortunately, who is really paying the steepest price for this are babies like Juliet. And it is our duty to help support them and help protect them from the attacks that are coming from this administration.
How many families is your organization helping right now, do you think?
We are focused on doing the organizing work to try to change the policies. There's other organizations that are in charge of kind of doing case by case in doing the service that is needed for these types of crises. Mm-hmm. But what we've seen is that because of the policies that this administration has taken, it's made a crisis that's too big for the existing infrastructure. And so all of us have to find our ways to chip in and to support.
Where can we go to find out more about your organization and help support it?
Folks can go to our website, mijente.net. You can sign on to our listserv. You can make a donation. Or if you identify as Latinx and Chicanx, and not only pro-Latinx, but being pro-Black, pro-women, pro-trans, pro-queer, pro-worker, pro-undocumented, because our communities are all of that and much more, then you can also sign up to become a member. So you can look up mijente/member.
Thank you. Very commendable work you did. You can't feel more good about at least helping one family. There's a lot more families to help, and there's a lot more changes that need to be made here in America, and you're on the forefront of it all.
Thank you, and the fight is only halfway done. We're really excited that Juliet is back with Sindy and can start that healing process. But we're very well aware that Kevin is still in a detention center in Arizona. We won't stop until the entire family is together and safe and able to start their healing process together. So more to come. So thank you for the support.
Okay. Thank you. So Sindy, what did you do when you couldn't find Kevin?
Pues decidí seguir mi camino y pues la verdad que me vine de Puebla. Me acuerdo que me fui en el tren y pasé por la Ciudad de México y llegué a un lugar que le dicen Huehuetoca.
I decided to continue the journey north. We got on the train. We got to Mexico City to a place called Huehuetoca.
Pues cuando iba en el camino me encontré a unos guatemaltecos que ellos me ayudaron.
When I was on the train, I met some people from Guatemala who were tremendous help for me.
How many days were you away from the border?
Pues igual bastante lejos porque para llegar a la frontera me estuve varios días.
It took several days to arrive.
Con los guatemaltecos me dijeron que había un albergue ahí en Huehuetoca, que nos podíamos ir para ese albergue, que tal vez ahí encontrábamos a Kevin. Y entonces yo me fui con ellos, me acuerdo, y llegamos al albergue. Yo pregunté si habían visto a un muchacho con una niña en un cargador, y nadie me decían que pasaban muchas personas por ahí, que no sabían decirme si era él o no.
When we were in Mexico City, I went with the other travelers from Guatemala to a shelter. I asked around for someone that looked like Kevin, that had a baby and a carrier. Nobody could tell me that they had seen him.
Me venían diciendo que el tren tenía que tomar y cómo, a qué estación íbamos a llegar y dónde estaban las casas de migrantes para poder descansar, bañarnos y seguir nuestro viaje.
The folks from Guatemala were really helpful because they were able to help give me information on which train to catch, which station to go to, which migrant safe houses that I could go to shower, to rest a bit before getting back on the train.
And when you got to the border, what happened?
Pues lo primero que hice, pues me acuerdo que llegué a la frontera el mero 31 de diciembre.
I got to the border on December 31st.
Pues entonces ese día era como, nosotros llegamos como en la madrugada, me llevaron a una casa de migrantes. Solo me acuerdo que solo me bañé, me cambié y me dije, me voy.
So we got there at dawn. We got to a migrant center. What I remember is that I took a shower and then immediately said, okay, let's go.
Entonces me acuerdo que yo intenté cruzar por la mera granita de Estados Unidos Incluso me crucé, pero me sacaron de nuevo para afuera y yo les dije que no, que yo quería saber de mi hija, que no, les expliqué que nos habíamos separado con ella, con el papá, que yo quería darme cuenta de dónde estaban ellos dos, y entonces ellos me hicieron, no, ve tú a arreglar a México, no me quedé, o sea, me sacaron.
I tried to enter through the entry point, and I told the officials there that I was desperately looking for Kevin and my baby, and they basically just sent me away and sent me back into Mexico to tell me to figure out what I was going to do over there.
Me daba miedo, o sea, me daba miedo pensar de que los habían detenido en México y qué había pasado con ellos. Y, o sea, que me sentía tan impotente, yo quería saber de ellos. Todo el día, me acuerdo de ese día, anduve todo el día alrededor de la frontera, estaba lloviendo, estaba haciendo frío, los niños me decían que estaban cansados, que ya no aguantaban más. Y entonces me acuerdo que yo más me desesperaba, pero al saber de que estaba a un paso de poder darme cuenta de mi hija, que si, cómo estaba, si estaba, o sea,
I was afraid where they were, if they had been stuck along the way in Mexico, coming north. I had no idea anything about them. I felt powerless. I just remember just wandering around the border area there looking for them. It was raining. My older children were complaining that they were tired, but I couldn't stop looking. I had no idea where they were.
So how did you eventually make it to the United States?
Yo me entregué, o sea, yo me pasé, digamos, el primero de enero de ese año, perdón, y me acuerdo que fue como a las 3, 4 de la madrugada, y entonces de repente cuando yo me entrego yo pregunto por la niña, por él, y cuando me tiene detenida la patrulla fronteriza, lo primero que me hacen es insultarme y tratarme de lo peor. A la niña mayor me la golpearon un poco y me dijeron de que no, que a ellos no les importaba si moría uno de mis hijos ni nada por el estilo.
Close to dawn on January 1st, I basically turned myself in and was asking about Kevin and the baby. And the Border Patrol at that point roughed up my older daughter, my 9-year-old, insulted me, basically told me that they didn't care if one of my children died. That's how I crossed.
Yo después de ese momento, pues a mí me dejan, me acuerdo, me dejan salir. Llamaron a mi tío, le dijeron que que la patrulla fronteriza me tenía detenida. Si él me podía recibir, él dijo que sí, y pues pasó, el 2 de enero me dejan salir a mí, como era bien tarde, pues, la hora no la sé porque ahí no tienen, o sea, un reloj, uno no sabe, cuando te tienes detenido no sabes si es de día, si es de noche, no sabes. Y entonces me fueron a dejar a una iglesia católica que se llamaba, me acuerdo, Caridades Católicas. De ahí yo pedí una llamada, llamé a mi tío y ahí él me dijo que habían detenido a Kevin, que le habían quitado a Gretchen, que a él lo habían llevado preso y que la niña la habían mandado para Texas.
They contacted my uncle in San Francisco and they asked him if he was willing to receive me. And he said yes. And then on January 2nd, they released me. And I went to an organization called Catholic Charities, who then helped me connect with my uncle.
And I understand that eventually Mahente was able to get in touch with Kevin, and they spoke with him by phone, and we have part of a recording by phone with Kevin. Let's listen to that telephone call.
Entonces, Kevin, cuénteme un poquito cómo fue cuando usted estaba en la hielera y le quitaron a su hija.
Pues sí, como le digo, que ahí le tuvieron 3 días en la hielera y a mí pues no me daban comida para la niña, solo me daban 2 juguitos y pues la verdad la niña se los comía los bolsos. Lo que probaba pues prioridad es mi hija, ¿me entiendes? Estuve 3 días ahí, cuando ya a mí me llamaron que ya supuestamente me iban a llevar, yo les dije que yo no les iba a dejar a la niña, que por qué me la iban a quitar si ella solo tiene 18 meses, está muy pequeña. Y ellos me dijeron que no, que se la diera, que ellas se iban a poner ahí, que me iban a poner en una cama rara, no sé. Pues yo les dije que no se las iba a dar. Pues ellos llegaron y llamaron más refuerzos, como 5 de ellos. Y entonces la verdad que la fuerza me la quitaron, me agarraron, me la quitaron y después me quedaron en el piso y me pusieron a mi esposa. Solo así me la pudieron quitar. Yo les dije que no siquiera que me dejaran darle un beso a mi niño, ni siquiera para decirle adiós. Me levantaron para mi esposa y le di un beso a mi niña. Y mi niña se puso a llorar. Pues yo también, pues, que mi niña está muy pequeña. Y después, pues, la verdad, ella me fue pesada y empezó con ella.
Kevin obviously is in jail still, and I understand now that the charge of re-entry has been dropped because he hasn't done anything violent. What do you have to say to Donald Trump? Because it's his policies that caused all of this suffering to you and your children and your family.
Que no debería de estar haciendo esto con los niños.
That he shouldn't be doing this to families.
Que es algo injusto.
That it's unjust.
Él no sabe lo que se siente que le quiten a un hijo.
He doesn't know what it's like to have your child taken from you in this way.
Y que no solo yo estoy pasando por eso, están pasando miles de personas.
I'm not the only one that went through this. There are thousands of families going through this.
Tan impotente al ver que a ellos no les duele como los niños sufren al ser separados de sus padres.
And I feel so powerless, knowing that they don't know what it's like for children to be separated and to suffer being separated from their parents.
What does the American dream mean to you, and is there an American dream anymore after everything that you've gone through?
Pues la verdad que yo creo que es bastante difícil, no es fácil porque no tengo una explicación para el del sueño americano. Yo creo que uno simplemente lo hace por el bienestar, bueno, en mi caso, por el bienestar de mi familia, de mis hijos. Por eso más que todo lo hice porque sabía que corría peligro en mi país. Entonces decidí venirme para aquí, pero imagínate toda la situación en la que estoy pasando. El papá de mi hija no está apoyándome, estoy yo sola en un país que no todavía no sé nada, que no tengo un permiso de trabajo, que no sé cómo hacer para enfrentar todo yo. Es bien difícil.
That's a tough question to answer because I can't really respond to the idea of an American dream. Really, what we came to this country was for well-being, for safety, to escape violence. So I don't really have an American dream per se, but what I do have is a daily struggle without Kevin in a country that I don't know, with my children, by myself. Those are the challenges that I'm facing right now, and it's very hard.
And it's totally understandable. I understand you also have a GoFundMe page if people want to go and help.
Pues yo creo que es algo sin precedentes, que no me va a terminar la vida, creo, para terminar de agradecerles también a mi gente por todas las cosas buenas que han hecho conmigo, cómo me han apoyado, cómo han estado conmigo, han ido a mis citas, me preguntan cómo me siento, he tenido, más que una organización, es una familia.
It's incredible the amount of support. I can live my whole life and never be able to express the amount of gratitude that I feel for all the community support in that way, and also the support of mi gente. Mi gente has been there to help me get to appointments. They ask me how I'm doing. I don't feel like it's just an organization. I feel like they are providing family for me.
Tell me how it felt to speak to her for the first time after being separated and not knowing even if she was alive.
Me la dejaban ver una vez por semana, por una videollamada. Y casi todas las llamadas que hacíamos ella estaba mal y se ponía a llorar. Apenas le hablaba yo, ella se ponía a llorar.
I felt badly because I was only permitted to do a video call with her once a week. And each of those calls, as soon as she'd hear my voice, she would begin to cry.
We have a video of you being reunited with Juliet at the airport. Let's watch. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But, you know, I'm happy you're back with Juliet. I wish you the best. I hope you're reunited with Kevin any day now. Lisa, thank you very much for your excellent translations. Thank you all for coming on. I really appreciate it. You know, when you hear stories like this and you put a face to a story, it's one thing to just read in the newspaper and say, boy, they're separating families, which is sad in itself. But when you see a human tragedy like this, it's really, you know, shows you how heartless and uncaring and unempathetic and disgusting, and I don't know, even I don't have a negative enough word to use to say what's going on there.
Jeez.
Yeah. You know, Dawn Harriet says, bring tears to my eyes. You know, Charmaine Wallace says, so sad, may God have mercy.
Yeah.
Asset Lindo, I've been choked up too damn much, it's sad. Yvonne Steele said, it's people heartless, separating families. Patrona Collins, I need to drink some soup now, tea, calm my nerves. Beverly Thompson, it's heartbreaking. Christine Bennett, so sad.
Yeah, it's sad, but you know, it's great that we actually, you know, put these stories out there, because like you said, you know, it's different from reading it. Like now you actually see the family, like see their face, see the tears coming out of their eyes, the sorrow in their eyes. So,
you know, Afzaleh on YouTube, it's sad to see kids being taken away by their parents. You know, but there is a GoFundMe page for Sindy.
Oh, nice.
Kevin is still in jail, as far as I'm aware. And that's and this is one of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. We could have a different person on every day.
Yeah.
You know, and talk about this. All right. Comments of the day, Jonathan. Yo-Yo Elias. Comments of the day.
All right, our first comment of the day comes on YouTube from Ken Pivot, and this is talking about the banks. It's sad when you find out so many businesses and banks don't care about making contributions to the community, but all about making their money, and if they lend you money, it's with high interest. SMH.
That's right. Shaking my head too.
Right. That's so true. That's what I was saying. Take your money out. We got a lot of power. All right, our second one comes from Patrona Collins saying, never miss a day episode. Every day you learn something new. Don't be selfish. Invite your friends to join.
Patrona, that's right.
Let's not be selfish.
Not be selfish. That's right.
Yeah. Our third one comes from Ramona Hazel on Facebook saying, when you want a Brad show live and people call in when you want to watch Brad show live and people calling my phone interrupting me.
Come
She
on.
was not happy about that.
I'm not happy when I'm doing my Brad show live and people are calling my phone and interrupting me.
All right, we have one from Sue Green Great on YouTube. Great lawyers. Went to 2 other expensive lawyers in Manhattan to do my husband's citizenship. They said it can't be done. Went to Spar and Bernstein. 10 months later, my husband now is a U.S. citizen. Wow. Make the impossible and possible. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Go ahead. What would you do that?
Like I'm a dictator, right?
Yes. All right, and our last one for today comes from Lisa Bling Rose on Facebook. Uncle Brad, Continue doing what you do best, answering immigration questions and giving the right answers. You go above and beyond.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee Sibling Rose.
Awesome.
All right, it is Thursday. Tomorrow is Fun Day Friday, or Fun Yay, or Fun...
Fry-yay.
Fun Yay, Fry-yay. What do we call Friday?
Fry-yay.
Fry-yay.
Can we drink?
We can drink tomorrow. Why not? We'll see you all tomorrow. Drinking and all. Take care. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?